And we are live. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Let me just refresh and make sure we are online. Yes. Hi, guys. All right. Thanks for waiting. Sorry for the delay. We had technical difficulties on both ends, but we are here now. I'm your host, as always, Jeff DeWitt. With me is a very special guest. Let me present to you guys Sophia. Say hi, Sophia.
Yeah,
hi. So this is her first time on the stream. Winona and Shiro are at Techo right now covering LMC. Quick announcement about that. We may or may not hear a check-in from them this weekend. So make sure you follow. Keep an eye on our Twitter and on our Facebook, and I will post an announcement if that happens. Otherwise, we'll have a post-con stream for that next. But let's, before we get into our topic, Sophia, do you want to kind of talk about what you, Sophia's our third co-owner, and Sophia, why don't you tell them about, just kind of who you are and what you do at VKH and all that?
Yeah. So I'm basically a news reporter, so I'm just doing all the news, just not right now as much as I should be. Right now, I'm just doing off-topic posts, mainly all those listicles you've seen. Yeah, and I'm doing some other stuff sometimes, like live reviews of events coming here. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So if you guys are a fan of those the top 10 lists that we've been putting out from time to time, that's all Sophia's doing. So I'm a personal fan of those. So I know there's some people that really like those. This is the mastermind behind it. So hey, what's up, Asika? Today's topic is we're talking about visual KPVs and just kind of talking about different like what makes a good visual KPV and what examples of maybe some PVs that we think are pretty good and some that aren't so great maybe. So if you guys at any point feel free to type in the chat what your favorite visual KPV is, like what kinds of PVs you like, if you like something more like stylized, focused on the band members or with story or whatever. But we're going to talk about a lot of different aspects of this. But so Sophia, I'll go ahead and let you start because I know you had some interesting things to say about this.
Yeah, first of all, it's just a thing I've been wondering all the time because some bands write PV and other bands write MV. Is there actually a difference? It's the same, right?
As far as I know, it's pretty much they're interchangeable. PV stands for promotional video.
Yeah, and music video, but is PV something that only visual K bands are using? Because sometimes I've never seen this before for American bands, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's exclusive to Japan, as far as I know. I would say that like since it's promotional video, like the sole purpose of it should be just to promote the band. So it could be like like short versions of music videos or versions with like their release like the single release like layered over the videos like a watermark. Like A9 does that a lot. But I kind of share your confusion to a certain extent because I've seen a lot of those on YouTube more and more, like YouTube versions of PVs that are like it's the PV, but then like it's got like a big watermark over it or like a bunch of concert details, but then it'll say MV sometimes. So I don't know if there's a ton of consistency in it right now.
Oh yeah, but it explains a lot actually, because those music videos we've been talking about, or those PVs we've been talking about with all those information in it, it's like one of the worst PVs in my opinion. because it's just so bad for promotion of a band. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's like that's the other thing, right? Is that it's like it's labeled as a promotional video, but then at the same time, the whole reason they lay over that is because they include those on limited edition versions of the singles and stuff. So it's like, is it really promotional if you're selling it as a product as well? Like, you know.
when you look at the views of those videos, they get like none, or at least not as much as they could have if they just put all those information in the description. It's always what I'm thinking. Like so many bands could get so much more attention if they just would put all those information in the comments and like upload the full music video. But it's just something that didn't really get to most Japanese bands. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's totally like they've definitely started to call them music videos more and more. And I think at this point they should probably just like stick to that. Like if you want to use it for promotion, like that's fine. But then there's the flip side, which is that like the reason like Western bands don't really care like about any of this or have any issue with this is that like Western bands don't really use the music video as a selling point. Like for, if you buy the limited edition of this, album, you get the music videos. Just know the music video is up on YouTube. It's to drum up hype for that. But I think the Japanese music industry is still kind of caught in that like crossover where it's like, kind of for promotional purposes, but like at the same time, they're still a little set in their ways a little bit because then that's where you get like this kind of paradox of it's like, oh, okay, we're going to put this promotional video up on YouTube, but we're just going to overlay it with a watermark and kind of hinder the effectiveness of the promotion because at the same time we want to sell it on our CD. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I get the idea that they just want to kind of copyright it and make sure no one is downloading it or whatever, and that people buy the CDs. But I know I've seen so many bands. I actually wanted to get a link. I've seen a PV recently where you basically couldn't see anything because there has been all this information all over the video. It was the worst I've seen so far, but I don't know which band it was.
Oh, okay. I know A9 has started to do that. Like,
yeah, maybe it was them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they do it. They've started doing it like part way through. So I guess that's like their version of like a short version of the PV, but then they just let the rest of the PV play, but they overlay like all the information on top of it. So Asuka in the live chat is saying the purpose of a PV is to promote the band. A lot of visual kei bands switched to calling them music videos. Yeah, we're kind of on the same page here, Asuka. It depends on how they want to promote themselves. Like if they want a stylistic band member shots, or maybe they want to tell a story, but it's up to the band. Yeah, I totally agree. It's just, I think our side of it is how effective what they're choosing is currently. It's always up to the band, but I think they're still in the process of figuring out like what's going to actually work, So I know the Western audience usually just doesn't have any of that. Like they're just like, okay, all right. And then they'll click off. Like,
yeah, exactly. And you can actually really compare it if someone is uploading a video with none of those information. They usually get a lot of clicks, even though the quality maybe is not that great. But at least people actually watch the full video. And I'm not sure about all those.
It does kind of. Videos. Yeah, definitely. It does divert people away from the official video and like seek out unofficial stuff, which we don't condone, but like, we can't control. You can't control like people, I think the only way, what I think it is to an extent, I think the only way that really works is if you have like complete full control of the platform and the distribution, so that like the only way they can see it is they have to see your video. But and YouTube's pretty strict. or can be made to be very strict in terms of monitoring for people re-uploading your music video and stuff. But there's definitely like a lot of some of the smaller record labels and the indie bands that like either they're not able to, or they haven't set that up with YouTube yet. So they're the most vulnerable for that, because it's like, you know, if, for example, the Gazette like put out like a short music video, that would be the only place that they could see it, because like literally 3 days after the Falling music video came out, like Sony dropped the axe, and like everybody like that had on YouTube like reaction videos, like re-uploads, like anything like that had the music or any like, you know, video clips from that Falling PV were like gone.
Okay.
But if you're not set up like that, then like you don't have that control. So but I think a lot of Japanese record labels and bands, they're used to having that control. So it's a growing pains thing, I think, more than anything.
We can actually talk about this PV.
Sure. Which one is it? Can you send me the link and I'll put it in the chat? So
yeah, just that. Find it. I don't want to say it, but I'm actually not a huge Gazette fan, because it's just not my taste, I guess. But the music video was pretty cool. I have to admit that.
Is this an example of like a music video that you like, or?
Yeah, but it's the Gazette. They have the money to actually do a great PV or music video.
Oh, okay, cool.
I can find it. Get it. I have to send it to you. Where's the chat?
Let me check the chat while you're doing that. A story-based one may be expensive, so a smaller band may want to make their music a selling point over the video. Yep, definitely. I think a story-based one, though, is a good example of one that I think is valid, that if you could have a teaser for it and then just sell that. Like I think that's more of a selling point than just your average music video. Like if you want to put it on a limited edition. I don't know, Sophia, did you ever watch Kami Joe's Symphony of the Vampire like music videos and stuff?
No, I think I haven't seen this one yet.
Oh, okay. Well, he put out a mini album called Symphony of the Vampire, and it was basically, it came with like 6 interconnected PVs. They may have all just been one long movie or something, because it was literally like they were titled with like chapters and stuff.
Okay, sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was literally the entire mini album in PV form, and there was like a story that went along with it and stuff like that. So let's see. All right, I'm going to paste this into the chat. Oh, this is the Falling music video.
Because you've been talking about this one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's actually not available in the States, but they have it on their website, so I'll just paste that in. So we're going to talk about the Falling music video by the Gazette. So yeah, what were your thoughts on this one?
I don't know why, but when I was watching it, I somehow had to think about the movie Neon Demon. I don't know if someone has seen it, because it was like they're actually at a set of a photo shooting for some fashion magazine. I kind of like the idea, but it's, I guess, something that's just typical for Gazette. Not that much into them, but
right, yeah. No, yeah, I know what you mean, and yeah, there was a lot, and I think we talked about this on one stream where we reacted to it, but there was a lot of stuff in that PV that I thought was really interesting. The aesthetics that they used in general, I think, were more of like they were much closer to like a more mainstream modern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could really see that they're actually trying to get international audience.
Yeah, which I think
Watch
is
it.
a smart move.
And I'm really curious if other bands are trying to copy this somehow.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I would like to see it because I'm going to talk about it when I think I'm going to double back and just review that PV this in the next week or two. And that's something I really want to talk about in there is that as far as I'm concerned, that music video was an update to like the Visual K music video format. Because
I hope it is.
Yeah, right. Because it just I think if I'm being really brutally honest with myself, like I've always like looked at like the J-Rock music and the music videos and Visual K as well as like kind of being like more ahead of being way ahead of like Western rock in terms of a lot of different things like presentation or innovation and things like that. But I feel like the last few years everybody's kind of been spinning their wheels. They've kind of been like kind of gotten stuck in like following trends and tropes and things like that. And so I think it's slowed down I think that's bled over into the music videos for sure. But I think in a lot of aspects, it's just kind of slowed down the rate at which they've stayed ahead. And, and with like Western metal is kind of making a pretty strong comeback the last few years. They've had some pretty interesting videos and music come out, and there's already an onus on some of these bands on like Japanese bands. I feel like it's already harder for them to like break into like the Western market, and so it's like if they become like too similar, then it's like, oh well, it's just the same as what I listen to, but like in a different language, that's not really interesting. But I liked this Gazette music video because it like shot it, like this is like out way ahead of the metal bands and coming up on like the Western rock and metal bands, but like coming up on like I would see this kind of music video in top 40 music and stuff. Like especially the lighting and stuff that they used, like the different.
Yeah, it was pretty good,
Yeah. There were like a lot of metaphors in that music video, like as well, that I almost think it might have been a little too vague, but maybe that was like intentional. But like I've seen like fan blogs that have just broken down like all the different like correlations between like what was going on in those scenes and stuff like that.
Oh God, yeah, I have to rewatch it to actually see that. That's actually yeah. But I think Gazette have always been pretty symbolic with their videos, so probably write like 10 pages about all the symbols and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. And apparently the whole theme of this upcoming album is going to be like they're struggling with basically the idea of like killing their past and moving into the future. And so so there's a lot of like that's where there was like the words choice and choke like in different points in the music video, and like the guy represents one side of that, the girl represents another side. There's a lot of stuff I won't go into because we went into it on another stream, but like there's fan theories out there that explain it like very well.
Yeah, but it's an interesting idea actually for some kind of articles we could post, like interpreting music videos.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to do. I was actually
get really crazy, but yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was actually thinking about making making a video kind of going through it, like once I get my video editing software like set up and stuff. So maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's great.
Because you can share it around Facebook and stuff. Asuka made some points about the video, like the part where the girl kills the man and then she stabs on the money in it. Asaka was saying that the old man seems to mean like a businessman. And then I don't think they're going to leave PSC, but like question mark. Yeah. So the Gazette has always like, and I mean like for a really long time, like since Dim, maybe even before Dim, they've always like periodically put out songs that are like really harshly criticizing like the commercial side of the music industry. Which makes it really ironic that people like call them like a really commercialized band and stuff, but they are like actively like so a lot of people's favorite song by them is like 13 Stairs Minus One. That song is specifically about Visual K artists selling out. Like he makes a reference to a slave waving their waist, and that's like talking about like the Visual K bandmen that get like all pretty and they're just there like showing showing themselves off instead of focusing on the music and stuff. Like so I think that combined with like they have a very DIY attitude about like being self-produced up until this album, which I guess they're still self-produced. They're just working with the Lamb of God's producer as well. But that attitude is what I think has kept like PSC off of their back, in spite of like what PSC is kind of what's happened to bands that have been on PSC in the past. That and the fact that they sell albums, like like leave it alone, let them do their thing. They're making money.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I don't think they can let them go really.
Yeah, exactly. So, I
mean, right now I don't know which bands are actually left for PSC, but it's another topic to talk about.
Oh yeah, it's it's interesting. Rave just left.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Should we move on? Because
for sure. Did you have another one or?
Yeah, I have another one because YouTube is just suggesting it. It's actually like one of the best music videos I've seen recently. Is Kizu Ato.
Oh yeah.
I think that Winona would agree.
Yes, definitely. We're big Kizu fans. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know you were into Kizu. I haven't talked to you.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just pasted it in the chat. People were asking us what we thought about that PV too.
Okay, great. Did you talk about it already, or?
Yeah, we did, but like we can get into it because I think we covered it with a bunch of other things as well.
Yeah, I think the thing about Kizu is just that it's not just this music video, but the other two as well. They don't really act like all those other Visual K bands who are just posing and try to look great in those music videos. They're actually getting into the music. That's the vibe I'm getting when I'm watching the music videos, and that's actually what makes them so great for me when I'm watching them. The quality is great and the ideas are cool, but it's especially the fact that they are really into it.
Yeah, definitely. Which is really funny because the vocalist used to be the vocalist for Lizard.
Yeah.
Which is like the polar opposite. So
yeah.
I guess art is a reaction to other art, so you can kind of see where his reaction came from,
Yeah.
I totally agree with the like having the band members like really into the music they're playing and stuff. That's kind of like what got me into Dataroma in the beginning.
Right.
Because they kind of match like the atmosphere of their music, like visually, like when they're performing, and the atmosphere is like they're going crazy. So especially like in the beginning, they were just going nuts. They do some posing and stuff, but I feel like a lot of it's like almost ironic. because it's like Yoshiatsu can't hold like a graceful pose before like breaking down into like, you know, some headbanging or going crazy or something.
Yeah, and I don't know. You just get into the music much better this way instead of when bands just pose and look great. Because I have an example actually where I feel like the song is really great, but in the music video they just don't really act how they should be acting. Yeah, this is how I feel like. Because yeah, it's another music video. I'm going to send it to you. I actually like them. Shall Me. I don't know if you've been talking about them already.
No, we haven't got into Shell Me much yet. Let me look and see which one this is because I might have seen it.
It's the most recent one.
Oh, okay.
I really, really love the song.
Oh, yeah. I actually like this song. Yeah. I've been really on the fence about Shell Me up until recently. I think this was the song that I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah, and they have a lot of great music videos. I don't know why I'm so into the music videos, but it's just they really have very artistic stuff. And I'm just wondering where they're getting all the money from to make all those music videos, because I feel like they're actually kind of indie.
No, well, I think I can look it up real quick, but I think all the band members be successful. Let's see. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, I don't know. The production quality for the indie, like the baby bands, has gotten like really, really well.
Yeah. But also the song quality's got very, very good for some reason. There's so many new bands that are just releasing songs, their first songs, and they're just really, really great compared to like some years ago where there were so many small bands and the songs been just, still bad, but they improved. And now we have so many bands that are just starting out really great already from the beginning. It's a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, it's as technology, you know, progresses, everything gets cheaper, you know. So, I think that's really the main thing. Also, yeah, I think it's mainly that, and also like some of these bands, like if they have more experience, then they're gonna like if they were, well, just like any experience, like if they were in a band previously, they might take the opportunity to like just come out swinging on the next band. But yeah, that's been it's been pretty nice. That was like one of our main points like a while ago. I think we brought it up because like back when, I guess it's 2016 at this point, maybe 2017, early 2017, when everybody was like kind of wondering if Visual K's dying again because all their favorite bands were disbanding and stuff. And we kind of pointed to that as like, look, when the indie scene is this strong, like, you know, or just like the quality, like it's hard to say that it's dying. Like, yeah. Like, can you imagine if like the Gazette or Duran Gray like came out with their indie music like today? Like it would.
Yeah, that would be like.
It would be a joke. It would be a total joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some bands who are doing pretty old school stuff right now, but I don't think they're exactly popular. I don't want to mention names right now.
No, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's I mean, if you want to do old school but just with like, you know, modern production values, like that's fine, you know. But
it's actually kind of funny because everyone's complaining like, yeah, they want the old school bands back, and then someone is actually doing old school stuff and everyone's like, no.
Yeah. Well, that's what's that called? It's like rose tinted glasses. It's like looking at your past with rose tinted glasses, you know. Yeah, because and I've said this on the stream before, so viewers know this, but I've been fairly inexperienced with like the older Visual K music up until recently. But I made a point of like talking with people who were really into it, and they kind of just came out and said, a few of them came out and said, like, it's like not all that special. Like you could boil down the Visual K bands in the 90s to like 3 different sounds, and every band sounds like one of those 3, which was like, I guess, like the lunacy sound, and the catchy, like that late 90s sound that was like that catchy kind of I don't know what you would call it, like kind of punk sound, and then like the more like Malice Misere kind of like experimental, not experimental, but like elegant kind of sound. And and that was it. So then when like bands today like come out like in the middle of all these other bands like mixing, like, like we're in a scene where like people are getting tired of rock and metal bands mixing rock music with dubstep, and there's like other scenes around the country that have never even like gotten to that yet. And so it's like they're tired of like the new crazy stuff, and then it's like you bring out the old stuff in the middle of that, they're just gonna like not even pay attention to it, which is unfortunate, but it's like you gotta step it up, I guess. Do you have do you have another music video in mind?
Actually, there's still something about Shell Me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, it's okay. Because the thing is with this, with the song, because it's actually extremely sad, because it's about suicide and stuff, and then you have the music video where the band members are actually killing all those gods, so they actually don't want to die, while in the lyrics they're saying like they want to die themselves because life's so hard and stuff. So it's kind of parody K, I guess.
Oh,
would you call it that? Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I kind of like the idea actually to do a completely different music video to make it seem kind of ironic, but at the same time it's also wasted potential, because the song is really sad and they could have done a really heartbreaking music video. The members also not posing that much and stuff, but it's just my opinion. I like what they did there, but there would have been other possibilities.
Yeah, you're kind of conflicted, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure, because I actually like it, and then again I'm like, it's so sad.
Yeah, that's wild. I'll have to like watch through the whole thing. I think I had it playing in the background and clicked into it and saw like the room that they were in, like that they were playing in, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. Like, yeah, it's a cool backdrop and everything they have set up. So but yeah, I'm seeing it as I'm clicking through. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, what do you think of like the parody K music videos from like Tensai and Reitan Ichigram no Go-san? Have you seen any of those?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I haven't seen any of Tensai. I'm not sure. Maybe I've just clicked through it and wasn't realizing what band it was.
Yeah, let me send it to you and I'll post it in the chat. It's
okay.
Do you find a lot of your videos on YouTube? Like, is that how you find a lot of yours?
Yeah, I'm just basically clicking through recommendations, but
this probably hit your recommendations at some point. I had to look up the band name though.
Maybe recommendations are repetitive at some point, and it's always the same band. But I'm definitely a huge fan of Reitan Ichigram no Go-san. Yeah,
me too.
Even though I'm still not sure why.
Yeah. It's almost like that. It's like you can't look away kind of thing, or you can't like turn off the song because you don't. you don't know, like you want to know what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds when it changes drastically again.
Yeah. I feel like they're just messing with your expectations. At least that's what they've done with me, because I was seeing their picture and they were just a bunch of dudes with very colorful hair and fashion. I was just thinking, yeah, okay, that's just another band doing some happy, funny, cute kind of music. And then I was actually listening to it, and it was indeed kind of electronic and those things. But there's just such a dark atmosphere, a dark dimension to all those songs, and I think that's what actually got me in the end, because it was not just as happy. There's always this dark thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, the reason that like I came up with the idea for Parody K is because like bands like Reiten Ichigram no Go-san and Tensai and a few others, it's like with their looks, they like it's almost like, because they change their looks so like frequently and carelessly, and they don't really like fully embody like the graceful or like they kind of they don't fully get into like their character, so to speak, and they switch between them constantly. So it's almost like they're parodying, like just trying on something and then like throwing it to the side and trying something else on.
Especially with Reitenetsu Grandogo-san, you see them a lot without makeup, which is actually also pretty rare for visual kei PV. So they're basically like leaving their persona and being themselves, kind of. Just pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah. So the PV I just sent you, and I put it in the chat as well, is for okay. So it's for this band Tensai, and I was speaking with one of our contacts in the industry, and she actually said that you could arguably call, she's open to like whatever subculture name you want to put on things, like the more of whatever fits, anything can be any kind of K. And she had actually floated out the idea of calling it Tanuki K. Because like Tensai's music is like very much all around like, or the videos are very much all around like the bandmen's interactions with the fans and things like that. So the music video is kind of built around like the music videos are kind of centered around that, and they do a similar thing as Reiten Ichigram no Go-san did in that one video, the what's it called, the Yuki Manhara doll, the one where they're in and out of makeup with those girls.
I think yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So they do that. They do that as well, but they lean into the parody side even more. In terms of like, you can kind of tell they're mocking like some of the concepts and stuff, like the I guess the groupiness of some of it. I don't want to speak too much to it because there's a lot of Japanese flying across the stream that I don't quite understand, but I definitely like want to dissect that one and a few others and maybe kind of figure out exactly what's going on. It really might be good to start like a video series or article series breaking these down, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do some funny stuff. I'm looking at the chat. Oh dear, Tanuki K. Yeah, it's kind of a thing, or I guess it's a thing.
I think I'm just asking myself all the time when I'm watching those, because I'm watching Tensai right now. It's really kind of the same like what Ichigram no Go-san did.
Right.
Because I don't want to say that those bands are actually doing all those things with taking money from fans and stuff, but let's just say it's very likely they're actually doing it. So I'm always wondering, like, is this some kind of a way to actually reflect on their own actions?
I think it's just going. My hunch is that it's going off of gossip, I don't think the bands that actually do that would like make videos about that. I don't think. I don't think they'd want to rat themselves out like that, you know, like
let's like not get into the Tanuki rumors that much.
Yeah, no. Like it's all speculation. Well, this whole thing is for entertainment purposes, so we have disclaimers all over for. But yeah, so basically, but here, let me send you like their other PV, and you could, if you just like skim through the first 90 seconds or so, it'll like change drastically to this hilarious thing. Basically, they kind of take the concept that we were just talking about that they and Ray Tenichigram Nogo-san have done, and they just like lean into it 1,000%. But it's like they start out. It's called Maria. I actually don't know the Japanese pronunciation for this, but basically it starts out very like gothic symphonic, kind of like it's like they're parodying someone like Avanchik or something like that, and then about maybe a minute in, 90 seconds in, it like switches to this like dance music, and then it switches to, they say, and you see it in the thumbnail, they say, "I'm a perfect bandman," and then they just like, it's just the style changes completely, and they're just like jumping around and messing around, and there's like a ska rhythm and stuff. But it's like, that's a great example of like, you know, just completely like dropping the charade, I guess, and just kind of going all the way. I could honestly have a whole stream about Tensai, because once they have enough PVs come out, because they just keep putting out like crazy stuff like that. So
I'm so surprised that I actually missed to watch their videos. I haven't seen any of those. Those YouTube recommendations.
yeah, they're hit and miss, I guess. That happens to me. I just feel like, why is like, why am I just seeing this now?
Do you know anything about the members? Have they been in other bands before?
They were all in a band prior to this called Kumasan Gekidan.
Rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm really not entirely familiar, but it's, you know, I'm guessing this is them rebooting and trying something new.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean with the video.
Yeah, right.
Just really very recently that bands are actually doing something like this.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Interesting.
They've opened themselves up to the option of not taking themselves so seriously, I guess, you know.
Yeah, because you would have actually, at least I would have expected that when Golden Bomber have been totally, how to say, when their videos were like trending all over, that visual K-bands would actually jump on the parody train, but it's been some years.
Yeah. You would have thought that would have started it, but I think people kind of pigeonholed them as their own thing because it may have just been between the fact that it was all very parody, you know, based, and then also like all of the members except the vocalist are, you know, air band members and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had such a you know, breakout success in like the mainstream and stuff. I think that scared off a lot of people, a lot of visual bands from like imitating it and stuff, because it's like, this just seems completely opposite from what, you know, any of it would be. But I think that's part of the draw of like some of the of like bands like Tensai, and especially for Reiten Ichigram Nogo-san, is like they're playing around with stuff and they're like messing around, but they're like really good at like the music they're making, and that's different from Golden Bomber. Because like the parodies, like, so they're because they're like actual Visual Kei musicians, it's like the parody is like woven into the music. Like I wouldn't even have to show someone a Reiten Ichigram no Gosan video to like get the idea of like the zaniness or craziness that they have across, because I could just play them the song and it like changes every 30 seconds into something completely different, and it all sounds like crazy and wild, and you know, it's just as much of a, you know, almost as much of a WTF factor as the music.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting to find out who actually started this whole trend, because it seems like those two bands actually started out at the same time. So,
yeah, it's interesting because I want to say Pentagon is kind of tied into it somehow, because Pentagon, when Pentagon got popular, that was like the first case in the music, in like the visual casing in the indie scene I'd seen for a while, where it was like it was like an idol style popularity. You know what I mean? Like, like people were and are like obsessed with that band, you know, like the band members themselves and stuff. And they have put on like a bunch of different looks. They have, you know, kind of the similar, you know, a unifying sound and everything, but they've had a lot of different, you know, audio and visual styles. And then this last album they put out, Wanderlust, was what like got me to the point where I was ready to tolerate, like to be open to something like Reiten Ichigram no Gosan, because I had found Reiten Ichigram no Gosan like a few months before that, and I was like, no, this is way too much for me, like way too much for me. But then I listened to Wanderlust, which was Pentagon Japan's like new album, and it just did so many different things across that album, and sometimes in the tracks it wasn't on the level of Reiten Ichigram no Gosan in terms of craziness. It was much more organized, and it just felt very diverse and experimental. But by the end of it, you know, when I started, you know, by the end of it, I was like ready to dive into like some of the crazier experimentation in Visual Kei. And then there's the fact that the guitarist Taku, I believe, is the brother of the vocalist of Reiten Ichigram no Gosan. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So it's tying in somewhere, you know, like.
Yeah, but I think it actually makes sense that Pentagon maybe actually kind of started it, because they definitely have the what's the word?
They definitely proved it as a concept that it's like, hey, you can get a huge buzz as an indie band based off of like your personality, the personality of your members, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to be you don't have to be like a what's the word that I was looking for? You know, you don't have to be like a mannequin, you know. But yeah, do you have another PV that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, because since we are just talking about parody K, I feel like we should talk about Kaito Sentai.
I'm sorry, who is that?
Kaito Sentai. Those are the ones who actually made a parody on Reiten Ichigram no Gosan.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and talk about this, and I'll let me look at that article that you wrote about it.
Yeah.
While you do that, yeah.
So yeah. What actually happened is that Kaito Sentai, they actually always did parodies. I'm not sure when they debuted. It was like 2014, 2015, something like this. And I personally always felt like they had a lot of Golden Bomber influence. And at some point, they actually started to kind of do parodies on specific bands. Because technically, Retenechigan no Gosan, when the first one, they actually wanted to do a parody on Pentagon too, but they couldn't release it because their label manager actually told them they shouldn't do it. And they posted this on Twitter, being like, "Oh hey, we actually wanted to do a Pentagon parody, but we haven't been allowed to do that, etc." And then a while later, they actually released a parody on Michinichigam no Gosan's Yugai Minheda Doll music video. And yeah, it's, Jeff, you already said it at some point, I don't know when, that they basically made a parody on a parody. So it's kind of like parodyception going on.
Wow.
Which is,
yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and link the article, your article on it in the chat real quick. But I didn't realize there was that backstory to it.
Yeah, it's I'm actually following the vocalist because on Twitter, because it's kind of interesting what he's posting, and the whole band philosophy is extremely interesting too, because all of them say that they don't want to do all of those fan band member stuff that other bands are doing, like the things that you can actually see in Retenechigan no Gosan's video, where fans giving the band members money and then they spend time with fans. They are totally against that. And they're also speaking up against all those bands who are actually doing this, saying this shouldn't be this way and things like this. And that's also the reason why they're actually doing parodies on other bands, basically.
Oh, okay. So is Reiten Ichigram no Gosan's music video that they're parodying, did they not really condemn it when in theirs, or was it more like they were just like, hey, this is a thing that happens, like kind of thing?
You know, the interesting thing is when I wrote this article, I mentioned at the end that Retenechigan no Gosan actually didn't say anything about it on Twitter. They didn't post any reaction to the video, so we don't know what they actually thought about it, compared to Pentagon, for example, who just said, no, you can't do this. This is going too far, actually. And the interesting thing is that the vocalist, Masato, is actually a huge fan of Retenechigan no Gosan. He's also, from what I've seen, he's at least in contact with the drummer. So they are kind of like friends, I guess. So he actually loves the music, but he just don't likes the way the band members behave outside of concerts and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
So they're kind of like the justice warriors of visual K.
Oh,
that's what I like to call them.
I think it may not even, I don't even think it's even that. It's just like trying to keep it classy or whatever.
Yeah.
This always kind of amuses me though, because this pops up in some way or another, that it's like these Japanese bands, they keep forgetting that this is rock and roll. And what the slogan being sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know, like it's kind of hard to, I mean, like if you want it to be more artistic, like that's fine. Like I don't care. Like people can have like whatever preference they want and stuff. But just objectively looking at it, like it's going to be hard for the majority of rock fans around the world to be like, and I've talked about this with Lynch's bassist being arrested for what we found out was marijuana possession, you know, and then like that being like a bad thing. And then like, you know, something like this being a bad thing, when it's like, you just pick any year, any day of like US rock and roll history, for example. And it's like 10 times crazy or 10 times more intense, you know?
Yeah.
I know it's a cultural difference and I totally acknowledge that, but there's definitely the reality is that those cultures will clash when it comes to interacting with the West, you know, like if rock ever resurges here in the States, I mean, metal is like fine, you know, in the West, but like if rock ever comes back up as well, like it's going to be, you know, it's still going to be like, it's very rebel, wild, sleazy, you know, drug using kind of thing, you know. It never really went away, to be honest. It just went over to the electronic scene when that got big. But but yeah. Asuka was telling us in the chat to check out Lynch's Sorrow music video.
I haven't seen this one. Have you seen it?
Yeah, if you just do Lynch Sorrow, it'll show up. So yeah, let me pull it up. Which is good timing because Akinori is now back in the band. So this will be interesting to check out. I guess we could do a live reaction real quick if you guys want to watch it with us in the chat. Now Lynch is a Nagoya K band. So, like, what do you think about Nagoya K PVs, Sophia?
I think I need another example. Honestly, I'm not that much into Lynch, so can't say much about them.
Oh, okay.
So,
are you into like any Nagoya K, like Death Gaze or?
No, that's one of those subgenres that I've actually been kind of avoiding because it's usually not the music I prefer.
Oh, okay.
So can't say much about it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. I can talk about it a bit since I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, that's their like the main thing about Nagoya K is that it's like it's a little gloomy, yes, but the main thing that sets them apart is that the visuals are always like severely toned down with a stronger emphasis placed on like the music. So that's why like a lot of the music ends up being like metal or something heavy or intense, is because like, you know, you'll have like a lot of like more like accomplished like metal musicians and stuff like that, which is kind of what Death Gaze was all about. And Lynch fades in and out with their makeup in their PVs. So this is interesting because it's like they've come back with it, you know, a little bit more in this. And I'm also not used to seeing soft Lynch or hearing soft Lynch songs. So this is pretty interesting.
I think honestly, like the last Lynch song I was listening to was like something from back in 2009 or I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they've kind of been on the same kick for the last few years of like heavy metal or metalcore, but like not like super heavy. It's just very like slick and kind of it's melodic metal basically, you know. He screams, but like a lot of these he's not screaming a lot. And but the last single he put out, Creature, like really made a great impression on me. But it was very different. And then this is also pretty different for Lynch from what I've seen, at least for like a promotional track. But I would imagine it's hard to do like a good music video for a Nagoya K band.
Yeah, because the options seem so limited.
Yeah, you really have to. The one I will say that I enjoyed the most is, and I will send this, just you can scroll through it, and so can the chat, is Death Gaze made a double music video for their songs Silence and The End. and they had a story connecting the two, and like the first song, Silence, they're like it's these people and they're watching they're watching the band on like a laptop screen, and then it jumps into the laptop screen and kind of shows them in like a more generic like or not generic, but like one of those cliched like PV settings where it's like all white in the background and they're just playing and they're in all black. And then at the end of that song, they walk off camera, and then they walk into the lounge where the people that were watching them are, and then they start playing in there, and there's like a story in there with the girl and stuff. It's pretty engaging. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
And then another good song or another good music video that was just kind of it's not very complicated, but it's just very nice, and it's just kind of it's gloomy, but the song's soft and sweet, and it's sweet for them, and it's for the PV for Sorrow. So and it's just like a lot of just playing with a lot of shadows, and the band members playing, and it's a very sorrowful song, and so I think that's about the best way that Nagoya K bands can like really lean in. They have to really lean into the gloominess or the dreariness or the malice of whatever it is. You know, there's no parody K in Nagoya K, I don't think.
Maybe someone is trying to parody Nagoya K at some point. Then it's getting crazy.
Yeah, then it'll be getting really crazy. They would probably parody them as like a band that takes themselves too seriously or something like that.
Yeah,
that's like an explicit like purpose of the scene is like less on the visuals, more on like the quality and the complexity of the music. So, but yeah, I could see it. You never know.
Yeah, but those videos are really well done. You can actually do a lot with black-white aesthetics.
Yeah. You just have to be careful. There's certain like pitfalls that you can be too predictable if you fall into, I feel like.
Yeah.
Asuka says Lynch's Sorrow versus Death Gaze's Sorrow. Which one wins? I have to go with Death Gaze. I'm heavily biased towards that song specifically and Death Gaze. So, but Lynch would win on other things for me. But yeah, that's when. Yeah, Sorrow. Sorrow is
no, you can talk.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say Sorrow was like that was like my first Nagoya K song and everything. So. Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that it's kind of ironic that they both have songs called Sorrow, so you already know what Nagoya K is all about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of, that's what cracked me up about that Tensai music video, that second one that has Maria in the title, is because I knew just from looking at that exactly like what this was going to be like, at least in the beginning, where they're acting all gothic and dramatic. Because I've seen like so many, like Avanchik had a song called Maria. I'm saying it the Japanese way because that's like how I'm hearing it in my head. But like, you know, Maria, there's been a lot of them that are like that, you know, like.
I think it's, in general, girls' names usually like very, very dark songs.
Yeah, and also maybe like the Catholic side of it, like Ave Maria and stuff, because a lot of them are playing in churches and stuff. You know, I don't know. But yeah, do you have another PV you wanted to talk about?
Let's see. Yeah, there's definitely a band I still have in mind when we talk about bad PVs. But before we get to this, I think Asuka was actually suggesting to us to talk about Mamideta.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you up to date with Mamideta? Like
kind of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they have great PVs. 10 out of 10, all of them. They're just
Well,
they're so funny. Band's so funny.
but for some reason the latest one, oh, what was the title? It was in the off-topic post.
I can look it up real quick, but I just refer to it as the ne.
Yeah, the song, right? Actually, I started watching it and I thought like, okay, it was not much is happening, and it was kind of disappointed at first, and until this part in the end, uh, the breakdance, and thought, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
this it's been the same.
Shin Mushi is oh yeah, this is their 3 month
Right,
single.
yeah.
Yeah, they all start with Shin. So this one was Shin Mushi.
This it's wonderful when you actually translate it, what it means.
Oh really? Can you give us an overview?
Yeah, Shin is basically cause of death, and the rest of it means ignored. So cause of death, ignored. And you already get what the song's all about. The
Oh
Moonbeam or
yeah.
ne. It's like, yeah, recognize me, senpai, basically.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That Ojamashimasu PV is just it's really spot on still as well. Like they knocked it out of the park with that one for sure. Like
Yeah. I don't know. I never really thought they were the videos itself is that funny. It's actually the song combined with the video that makes it so it's incredibly funny.
Yeah, because otherwise, like the flailing that he's doing makes like no sense. I think with the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what other crazy stuff they do, because they're a lot of fun. Did you see their very first music video?
Was it the one where they're sitting at the table and just eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
Let me paste that one in the chat as well. For the
It's one very creative idea, actually. It's incredibly
low budget,
simple, but
yeah, it's great. It's great for an indie band, you know.
Yeah, like while they're all trying so hard, you can just sit down and film yourself while you're eating, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I really like bands like Mamireta and Data Roma and Reiten Ichigram no Gosan and even Pentagon. Pentagon's really started to be like this, or it has kind of been like this. Like they just kind of embrace who they are, and they don't try and be like elegant and like elegant and cool and serious and stuff. Like if it doesn't work for them, like I think that's like the best way to go. It's like, if an artist is honest with themselves about who they are and like the kind of personality that they like to give off in general, as opposed to trying to be like, like Kamijo or someone, Kamijo, like people like Kamijo and Gax like are successful because it works for them, because it like reflects their personality. But like, just because it works for them doesn't mean that you have to do it that way and stuff.
But it seems to be some kind of shifting trend, actually, because back then I feel like more bands were trying to be a divine persona kind of, and nowadays bands more like try to be more real and stuff like that, which is also interesting that it changes so much.
Yeah, especially like the makeup thing. That was like going from makeup to no makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and really with that, like there's been plenty of room for that forever, because from what I understand, these artists like they're out of makeup, but they're still in makeup. Like they're still like, it's just like even in that video you can see it a little bit, but it's like they have like a casual, there's a casual dress style of Visual K makeup for like, general everyday kind of stuff, so it's not like it's not like it's a huge pressure to go from like, oh, like I've got all this makeup on to like, okay, it's either I have it all on or I have it all off. It's like there's in betweens in like that, you know. So, Asuka says no makeup. Basically.
Yeah, I think we were also actually seeing less close-up shots in videos. Like back then, you had a lot of close-up shots of the members, of their faces and stuff, and I don't feel like I'm seeing that much recently. So it would prove
I see them from time to time, but it's not lingering on them. It's like in a highlight reel almost, usually towards the end or something.
Yeah.
I know Kiri likes to get like a good pose in for each band member, like before the end of the PV.
Yeah, that's one of those typical Visual K PV things that are probably happening. That's also a point I actually wrote down for today, because there are some elements you can find in like most PVs. And I think...
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Do you have this game you probably have this game in America where you just write down a bunch of scenarios and then you tick them if they actually happen, and if you have like 4 in a row, then you win the game.
Yeah, we have bingo.
Yeah, that's the one I meant.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you could actually do this for Visual K PVs, because there are some things to that.
We have to do an article for this. We have to make a bingo sheet.
Yeah.
Visual K PV bingo. Oh God. We're gonna talk after this. That's a great idea. Yeah.
I was trying to think about some things, but it's actually not that easy.
Okay, so one that I have, and and I know this one specifically because it's like a guilty pleasure of mine because I really like it, is the sweeping panorama camera shot of all the band members like playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a half rotation kind of thing. Like Arlequin does it, Mejibre's done it, Roy's does it, everybody does it, but like there's like, that's something I've only really seen in Visual K as a trend. I've seen it in other bands, but like, you know, it's like this like swoosh of a angle.
Yeah, right. And then there's also the thing you've been talking about before, like all those close-ups at the end of the video where you can see all the members.
Yeah. There's that one too.
And another one I got is in many PVs you can actually see or find a girl in a white dress with long hair. I don't know how many PVs I've seen with this kind of element, but it's always, or not always, but most of the time, for very small indie bands. They have an actress with a white dress, long hair, just standing around doing nothing.
Yes, that's really true. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm trying to think of what else. Asuka. Yeah, you got it, Asuka. Ame no Waltz by Dadaroma had that. Have you seen that PV?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah,
I've seen one PV. Glad at least one.
She's like, at least she's dancing in that one.
Yeah. At least she's doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they're actually dying.
Yeah, that's yeah. Is it so for is it okay if I say what country you're from?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So because Asuka had asked if you were like our Japan correspondent, and no, Sophia lives in Germany. So I was going to ask you, Sophia, because I'm seeing what looks like a lot of, it looks like European models that are being used like in these PVs. Is that like very weird to you, seeing that as someone like from Germany? Like seeing all these European models being used in like all these like Japanese Visual K music videos?
Kind of. I don't know. It's hard to answer, actually. Sometimes it doesn't really surprise me because I guess that European women or maybe even men are seen as exotic, I guess. So it's probably very appealing to have someone like this in a promotion video. But it doesn't really like offend me or anything. They just should just do whatever they want. But I
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I just figured like it would like catch me off guard if I saw like someone like distinctly, that looked like they would be from the States, like, like just like chilling in this Japanese music video is just very interesting. Asuka says Falling's girl model is Ukrainian and the boy was French. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And now I also wonder if it's like, well, I mean, for some of them, it's kind of obvious why it's like that, because it's like if it's like a band like Versailles that's like inspired by European culture, like,
yeah.
but then sometimes I wonder if it's like to kind of have a more, I don't know, like an international message or reach, like.
I don't really think so.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. It's very, very interesting.
It always seemed like they're just trying to put someone in there who looks kind of exotic, kind of different, I guess. That was the way I was thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah. What's another? I'm trying to think of another bingo. another bingo one. Let me think.
I'm not sure if this is so common. We could actually that's another point I actually wrote down, because something that was really annoying when I was watching many promotion videos after another is just the fact that it's always the same location. Everyone goes to the same studio all the time to shoot their promotion videos.
Oh yeah. I can't believe I forgot about that. So yeah, what are those? Church, right?
Yeah.
Warehouse.
Warehouse. Then there's this one red room with all the gold in it.
Right. Yeah. Gold red room. Yeah. There's the mirrors room.
Yeah. Right. And then there's another one that looks kind of futuristic. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of purple.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put nightclub down because I've seen enough of them.
Yeah.
What was there's another one that's I've just seen as being used a couple times, which is this like outdoor. It's like this outdoor location in between two buildings. Like Nocturnal Bloodlust had a music video there where they were shooting fire, and then Devloof had a music video there where they were shooting fire. And then I think Vivarush had a music video there, and they're a Genki Oshara band. Unless that was a different outdoor place.
I don't know if it's the same, but didn't Ritedachi Nago-san shoot in some place like this too for the most recent PV? But I'm not sure. Maybe it's another place.
I'm just, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna say, well, let's see. Let me look. Fire around the band members. I think
yeah.
Is the easiest way. Even the Gazette does that live for one of their songs, like one of their fan favorites. They like cut the lights and they like have all these torches and stuff.
But I can actually say something about all those locations. I was reading some comments of people who were actually talking about all those locations, and someone actually found a link to a website for the studio that has all those locations. It's, I think, like one studio with 4 different rooms, and apparently it's very cheap. So a lot of indie bands are actually going there to shoot their videos.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I can still find the link. Probably not now, but
yeah. Well, you can send it to me if you find it. I'm sure we can show it to people at some point. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah,
I know James will be extremely interested in to see that, because that was his thing, was when he was running the countdowns here. This channel used to be the channel for the Visual K Heaven countdowns, which we're working on bringing back. But back when James was running them, he was constantly ranting in his notes about how like, it's like, all right, it's another PV in a warehouse, huh? Another PV in a church, another PV in like,
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So
It's just, I think it's just super. I don't know. I don't understand actually, because most of those bands, they live in Tokyo, and I'm like thinking, like, this is such a huge city. You can't tell me this is the only location there to shoot videos.
yeah, I wonder what like the filming laws are like there. I think because in the United States, it literally varies, I think, from state to state. You either need consent or you don't need consent if you're in public, you know? So, yeah. Oh, no, damn. Asuka knows her Gazette knowledge, because I mentioned the fan favorite. She's like, Ganges, it's Ganges ni Akaibara, and I think even Wasteland recently. Yes, they did. They did a bunch of torches and stuff for Wasteland at their Dogma Live. It was very, very entrancing. But I'm sure we can come up with even more as well. But
yeah, there's as I'm still thinking of one. There's always this one sofa that everyone's sitting on, even for photo shoots, and I think it also appears in plenty of videos. This could be another one to add.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like okay, all right, here's one I want is guitarists flourishing. Like either after they finish a solo or even after they finish a chord. Like they'll play like the chord and then like their hand goes up and they pose or whatever.
Yeah, right. And someone is always falling on his knees at some point, very dramatically.
Yeah. Falling on knees dramatically. Yeah, I'm making a list. This is good. Yeah, Asuka says vocalist on couch.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's the vocalist. Yeah.
Blood in a bathroom. That's a good one.
Or at least blood. There's always a lot of blood. Maybe someone is dying, depending on which band you want to do your bingo on.
Okay, I got one. Close up of a band's of a bandman's eyes with contact lenses in. Like creepy close up of contact lens.
Yeah, right.
Like the obscure PV from Durangray that everybody does now. Every heavy band.
We also have a lot of close-ups of flips, actually, when they are saying something or whispering something.
That's right. Yep. That's a good one. What's up the flips whispering? Oh man. Synchronized head rolling, right? Or head banging / head rolling.
Yeah. And And if it's an Oshara band, there's always someone who is just having a super exaggerated smile. It just looks super weird.
Oh, like way too happy smile.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Oh, that's a bingo sheet in and of itself. At some point, this could be gold. So, all right, let's we can go for a little bit longer, and then we can go ahead and wrap it up. But what was the next thing you wanted to cover?
Yeah, I've already mentioned it because we didn't really talk about bad PVs. And I have an example for bad PVs, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm just complaining too much. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Livlet.
Oh, which one?
All of them.
All of them?
maybe I'm just too the thing is, I actually love Livlet. I'm just saying this in advance so that no one can say that I just hate on them or something. But I don't know. The thing is, with Livlet, we can talk especially about the Black April PV, because I know you posted about it on Facebook saying it's kind of cringy, and I definitely agree. And the thing about this PV is that
oh no, did I say it was cringy? Oh,
I think you did, yeah.
Did I slander Liflich like that?
Yeah.
I also love Liflich a bunch. They're my I always say that they're my like if they disband, then I know like indie music's in trouble. Like because they're like they seem like they're like as they're really good for like what seems like such a small band or like a low budget band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've been they've been great even before they have actually been Visual K, because what a lot of people don't know is that they've been active since 2007 something, and they've always been kind of jazzy. Actually, it was in like 2010 2011 when they actually kind of entered the Visual K scene.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan, I guess.
Yeah, same. I still need to go back and listen to like I'm literally 2 albums behind, but like I've just been listening to like whatever PV tracks they have and stuff.
That's totally okay, because they've released far too much in the past few years, at least in my opinion. It was just crazy. I don't know what they did.
But yeah, I can't believe it. There's so much.
I'm really happy right now they're just taking kind of a break. Tomorrow, actually, is their first live since January. So, and it's kind of a special live, so something is probably going to happen. They're either going to announce a new release, or if it's really bad, they're actually announcing to disband. I don't know. But something is going to happen tomorrow with Lifted, so keep an eye on it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll make sure we have something up then for sure.
Yeah, but let's talk about music videos. The thing is, at least for Black April, from what I've read, the vocalist was actually directing the video, kind of, because he's totally into movies and stuff like that, and clearly Black April has been a reference to Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah. And I think they never actually really mentioned it. Cougar just said he was into Stanley Kubrick movies, and yeah, obviously that's what it is. So he decided to direct a music video himself. And I mean, I think it's cool if they actually want to do it themselves. But I guess that's what you actually call an epic fail. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's weird because it's like I might have thought it was cringy at the time. It's got its own kind of charm to me now, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, the crazy guitar solo, and then like the jump cut on steroids, and then and then just him going hi there, like that just cracks me up every time.
I feel like it probably would have looked pretty awesome if the whole quality would have been better. At least that's what I'm thinking, because they're always shooting at the same place. At least it looks like the same place, because I've seen this red wall like in 3 or 4 of the videos. So I always feel like they're actually recording those videos in their practice room or something. At least that's what it looks like. And they don't really seem to have a professional cameraman or someone who actually knows how to lighten up a room properly. If that was the case, I think those videos would actually be pretty cool. But
yeah, and that's what the and for people who maybe aren't familiar with Liflich, if you're not, a good reason to bring this up is that, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure Sophia, you agree with this band is criminally underrated.
Yeah,
their music is amazing. And they are just they really just, I mean, going off of their videos, they seem like an underground band. Like at this point, they're just very underground.
exactly. Yeah.
But their music is so good. Like, it's so interesting. And, like, they just use all these different elements of, like, there's some jazzy stuff. There's some, I don't even know what you would call a lot of it. One of my first reviews that I ever wrote at VKH was for like their first full album, and I fell in love with it. And I'm usually into a band, like usually when I get into a band, it's like there's this particular song or something that got me into it, but like this one was like the album itself got me into them. I was like, this is amazing. Like,
yeah, they're doing so many different stuff, and you just really notice that the vocalist is actually totally into movies, and he's actually taking those movies and using them as inspiration for his songs. And that's what those songs are like. You listen to them and you have like the whole movie in your head, basically.
what did you think of I guess it's called Yuki na Noir, or Amusing Noir? The PV for that.
Have to rewatch it. I've seen it.
Here, I'll send it in the chat, just so
okay.
you don't have to.
I think I watched it like once, because I actually don't really like the song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just another thing that actually I think is kind of sad, because they're always taking the same kind of song to promote a whole single and stuff, and it's always like those fun party kind of songs. And I feel like people who are just listening to those songs or just watching those videos, they get the feeling like this is the only thing they're actually doing, but it's not the case at all. They have so many different kind of songs.
Yeah, if I were them, I would honestly put out their whole albums like up online. I think at the size they are and everything, they would benefit more from the exposure than from selling album copies, especially because their albums are like the real selling points for them. Because I definitely know what you mean. Yeah, they have so many great songs that aren't PVs and stuff. So
yeah, exactly. They're releasing singles, and I'm listening to them and feel like the third song on the single is actually the best one. Why didn't you choose this one instead? Just don't understand. I feel like since Hurrah Hooray, maybe I think that this one has been actually very popular. And I guess since that point, they basically thought, okay, this is like the stuff everyone wants to hear, so we just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. And all the rest of the songs we do, we just put them on the album, and yeah, fans can enjoy it, but everyone else is just seeing those.
Yeah. Did you see that video they put out? It's looking like 9 months ago. I guess it was an advertisement for like I don't know if it was no, it was like a medley of songs that they did in studio and they filmed it.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, I think that's a good way for them to go. I mean,
Totally.
they didn't film it wasn't like live audio, but I think it was just good to have like a nice medley of Liflich songs that don't have PVs and stuff.
Yeah, the whole video is actually better than anything else they did with the videos.
Yeah, for sure. They
did
honestly do such interesting stuff musically that it's like it could just be them in a studio, like, and that.
Yeah, and they actually did another one like this a while before. This one was for just one of their songs. If I can find it. Yeah, they recorded it in the studio too, and the song is really, really great. It's a slower song, but it's really wonderful, and the video is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Even though it's just in their studio and they're not wearing much makeup, but it's just perfect, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna paste chat. I'm gonna put the link to the this studio medley I was just telling you guys about. It's probably a better representation of Liflich, I think.
Definitely, because you can hear actually what kind of songs they are also doing.
Yeah.
Making. Yeah, they have amazing dramatic songs. Those are the ones I actually like the most. All those very dark and gothic kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Those you could actually use those for movies sometimes. I feel like you could use those for some epic historic dramas. And I just don't understand why they don't release one of those songs as a single. Because I feel like those are the ones that really make them unique.
I really just think it's a case of like is it just, I think it's just them, right? Like that, and then whoever they're able to work with to make the PVs. Like, I don't think they have a team or anything, do they?
Seriously, it always looks like they're just asking some stuff guy if he can hold a camera and they will do the rest.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's it,
And yeah, it's actually kind of sad because I feel like they actually have a lot of fans in Japan. If you look at the places they are playing live, the audience, there are really a lot of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Japan, they're actually quite popular.
I think the last that's good to hear. I think the last live thing I saw was it was just the concert that they put out for the music video for Maslow Mansion, which was a while back. It was like a tiny. I don't know if it was tiny or not actually. So, but that's good that they're getting big because that band's not allowed to disband.
No.
Like they're absolutely not allowed to disband.
No, so I have to leave visual okay if they do. I think.
Yeah, it's like 30% of the integrity of indie bands is in that one band.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, that would be rough. That would hurt, and it won't happen. So
no, because tomorrow a new period is going to start, a new era of of Liftage.
Oh no, Sophia, are you gonna? Is this gonna keep you up tonight?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh man.
I'm going to reload my Twitter all the time just to see if something happened.
Oh God, yeah.
And I have hope.
I may keep an eye on it myself.
I just hope the music videos are getting better.
Well, what did you think about the Fleuret music video? Because that was a little bit more.
Oh yeah, the one that they were shooting in the forest.
No, it was. It was the one they did for their.
Okay, yeah. That's just another one I watched like once because I also didn't really like the song, even though it's been a different song for once. I was really happy to finally chose a different song to promote the album.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear. I was surprised to hear this kind of song from them actually, because it was the lunacy kind of song that like everybody likes to do, like the anime opener song. You know, that's got like the the catchy melodic chorus and it's upbeat. But they did their own take on it. I was a big fan of it. I liked the take that they did on it at least. You know, it didn't sound like every other band that does that song. You know,
but once again it's an example of bad lighting. Music video.
Yeah. Yes, very true.
I mean, it's okay what they're doing, just standing there making music. It's all fine, but
okay. Let me check the chat because they've been talking. So Akai Sakiyuki says, "I love Sargia. Sargia Ruin PV. Let's check that out."
Okay. Is this a new band?
Yes, it's a new band. I saw it the other day, actually. I was I know what you're talking about.
I even
because
watched it. Okay.
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah. Wait a second.
Yeah, sure. And I will just post it here as well. Yeah, I know what you mean, Akai. I was very engrossed by it. But I was in a loud room when I like was looking at it on my phone, so I couldn't quite hear it. But it's shot pretty well, yeah. And the look's on point. That's the other thing. So
yeah, there's a lot of symbolic stuff once again, even though I'm not sure if they actually did this on purpose or if they just put it in because it looks cool.
Is it in a church? I think it's in a church. It's in a church or a museum.
That's an interesting location. Museum.
Yeah. Well, I just saw the what's the Catholic painting that's like Jesus and his 12 disciples at the table? The Last Supper.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that's called. I miss the Black Swan and also Doke. Yes, yeah. I was a big Black Swan fan, and was pretty into their aesthetic. Akai, you'll have to let me know what you thought of Disrain, which was Yohio's band, because they kind of did the same kind of look as well, or the same aesthetic. Insanity Injection is lovely as well.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. Are they still together?
Didn't the vocalist leave the band? I'm not sure. I think that was the last thing I've heard.
I still can't believe that they picked them to like be on the YouTubers React to Visual K video.
I don't even remember anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah, they probably picked them because it was just totally crazy.
Yeah, there are so many people that are so salty about that, like in the comments and stuff.
Yeah, but in that case, they didn't really pick a good promotion video to like represent the whole scene.
No, of course not. And they picked like all these like softies to react to it too. Like there's like only one person that was like even remotely prepared for the music. Like
hopefully they're doing a part 2. Maybe we can suggest some videos.
Well, it's going to be even heavier if it's a part 2, because like everything's just gotten heavier at this point. Well, it'll be heavier / crazier, because our theory is that my theory is that, you know, we've been through this phase of like all the heaviness and stuff, but what we're seeing with like bands like Rave, the way Rave's heading and the way Acme's heading, is that we think that if Osharike comes back, and like Kira K ramps up more, like we think they're going to come back, but they're going to still sound heavy, like kind of heavy, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's also going to leave room for bands like Reiten Ichigram no Gosan, who is like heavy and light at the same time, you know? So it may just all be crazier and more energetic than anything else.
Yeah, but it's at least something different, I guess. So it's not just going back to how it's been some years ago. It actually changes. So
Asuka says all these. Sorry, Asuka says all these normie pop lovers. There you go. That was my favorite part. I will give them this. Like the Tyler Oakley, the one of the YouTubers that was on there. That was like my favorite thing that I got out of it, was that he referred to it as Carnage Pop, and like I kind of for Dadaroma at least, I can kind of really accept that. Like, but yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you wanted to cover, Sophia?
I think I got everything I wanted to cover. I still just put the off-topic posts I published recently on my list, but we don't really have to talk about it. It's just if we still had time.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about that for a bit. Okay. That was the funny happy visual K PVs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, go ahead and talk about that. I'll grab the link and put it in the chat. I'm gonna collect all these links and put them in the comments. So
yeah, it was actually it was easy to choose them, and at the same time it was actually pretty difficult because everyone has a different kind of humor, and for some videos I really wasn't sure if they were actually funny. Because I was watching them, I just thought, yeah, they think they're supposed to be funny, but it's not really, maybe not just my kind of humor. And yeah, I have to look at this myself again.
Yeah, you had some good a good range of choices in there. Like I was glad to see High Drag by Gacharaka in there.
Yeah, I was just writing down something by Gacharaka, and I still had to look up which video I could take. And it's been the first one I've seen, and it was kind of nice. I'm not sure if I could say it's extremely funny. Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, it ends with him accidentally dropping a cake on his boss's head, so it's pretty.
Which totally doesn't make sense because he drops the cake in another room and then it magically flies to the room where Spencer is.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that's like the least effort went into like cutting that together.
But it actually made it kind of funny. Okay, yeah.
I think they purposely made it like that. Yeah, like it's just really funny to see it floating in the air in front of the band as they're performing. It's just like, okay.
That was very well done, actually.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then Winona and I were happy to see Marblehead in there with that masterpiece.
Yeah. Did you know this video before you've seen it? Okay.
Yeah, Winona had found it and sent it to me. It's like, I don't know what this is, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, I totally wasn't expecting this because I think it was their first PV. And
Yeah.
I've seen their looks and thought they were a totally serious band. And I was clicking it. I was actually kind of shocked. Like, okay, what's that even? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, guys, you'll need to. It's in the list in the link that I just put, but I'm just gonna put it out here as well. This Marblehead band is
a horrible title.
What does the title say?
I'm not going to I'm not going to say it because it's far too long, and
okay, let me
I don't know what it even means. I think it just doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense. Okay. It doesn't make any sense because the music video also doesn't make any sense. So yeah.
Yeah. I have no.
And I was watching a bunch of Camelio videos because I actually missed out on them. And
oh yeah, they have some good ones. Like I liked Sandwich Love by Camelio.
There was the one where the girl is coming to the disco. Yeah, I remember. I've seen it. And I also like the one with the girl with the manga head kind of thing, who's just playing this dating game.
This was a Camelio PV?
Yeah, it was.
She's playing a dating game. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Let's see if I can find it. That one was actually kind of funny. I don't know why I actually didn't choose this one. Maybe I actually thought that the other one was a little bit more funny, the Gomenasai one, which I actually chose. Because the members are actually... No,
oh yeah, Gomenasai is really funny. Yeah, a lot of Camellia's PVs were really funny. They were really enjoyable.
Yeah, but more like happy, actually.
Yeah.
I can find it. Yeah, and then there are still some other videos in the list, like, yeah, Kaito Sentai, Shikram Nogo-san. And I'm pretty sure I missed out on so many other videos we could actually add.
Yeah, I mean, but that happens, you know.
Yeah. But the chat maybe there will be a part 2, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. The chat was talking about Suke Kyo, which is Kyo from Darren Gray's side project, and he has some crazy, not crazy, but like very engrossing and engaging PVs. Yeah, so yeah, that one's cool too. But yeah, we can go ahead and wrap up for now. But yeah, I guess the general summary is like there's a lot of like interesting things going on with the visual KPVs that like, you know, fall outside of the main aesthetic, you know. We didn't even like feel the need to cover on like the, you know, like the more standardized PVs and stuff. So I think that's a really good sign for the indie scene, at least, especially, you know, that there's this much diversity going on, that they're not just relying on their looks anymore, you know.
Right. And I feel like this is actually a topic we could still talk about like at the end of the year, because until then there will be so many other PVs, and maybe Gassette's influence actually maybe you can actually see this already.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting to see how Duran Gray does their next PV, because their look is looking really weird and somewhat concerning.
Oh yeah.
But it's also looking more modern, if I can concede that. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, definitely like the Gazette, like I'm like, yeah, please, if you're gonna be influenced by something from them, like be influenced by this. This is a good update. This is a necessary update. You know. So all right, well, great guys. Thanks guys for Asuka says Kyo dipped his hands in green goo. Yes, that is exactly, that's what it looks like. So, thanks guys for watching, and thanks Sophia for joining us.
Yeah, sure.
Hope to have you back on soon. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Peace out. We will catch you later.
Bye.